Hei, eu sunt Daria și astăzi o să vă vorbesc puțin despre MUN-uri. O scurtă istorie și ce înseamnă termenul. MUN sau MUN vine de la Model United Nations și este o simulare a conferințelor de la Organizația Națiunilor Unite, unul dintre cele mai importante corpuri politice internaționale. Este adresat în mod special elevilor de liceu și studenților care au ocazia să reprezinte o țară sau o figură politică într-un comitet și să încerce să rezolve o problemă, respectând deciziile persoanei sau țării respective. MUN-urile sunt aproape la fel de vechi ca organizația în sine. În 1921, la Oxford, s-a ținut un Model League of Nations. Studenții de la Oxford au vorbit despre probleme de importanță internațională în cam o oră. De atunci, formatul acesta s-a schimbat destul de mult, iar acum conferințele durează 2-3 zile, cu ceremoniile de deschidere și închidere. Primul MUN care a avut această denumire s-a ținut în 1947. La început, MUN-urile erau evenimente destul de restrânse și erau considerate de diplomați ca fiind un bun exercițiu pentru copiii lor. De ce să o faci? Mă bucur că ai întrebat. Sunt multe motive pentru care să faci MUN, iar eu îți voi spune doar câteva dintre ele. Te ajută să-ți îmbunătățești engleza, deoarece majoritatea resurselor pe care le vei citi înaintea conferinței sunt în engleză, iar limba conferințelor este engleza, și atunci vei citi, scrie și vorbi. Îți recomand să ai un nivel bun de engleză înainte de a te înscrie la aceste conferințe. Tocmai pentru a testa nivelul de engleză, voi vorbi și eu în această limbă. Dar nu te îngrijora, dacă ai nevoie de subtitrări, le vei găsi aici, dacă ești pe calculator, sau aici, dacă ești pe telefon. Hi there. Right, where were we? Oh! Reasons why you should attend an MUN. It makes you less shy when speaking in public. Public speaking is a fear for many people. But MUN helps you overcome that. You are this renowned diplomat, so you have to project an air of confidence, which will translate into other aspects of your life as well. When presenting a project or just talking to an adult, having some public speaking abilities will always come in handy. It helps you make friends. The MUN community is quite closely knit and very friendly, and you'll probably find a lot of people with similar interests. If you like partying, socials are also an important part of MUNs, but we'll talk about that a bit later. I've made a lot of great friends through MUNs, many of whom I still talk to today. It will help you learn more about important issues, and it will help you write better essays. Due to the nature of the topics, you'll often need to acquire a solid knowledge of history, law, and sometimes even economics. Besides that, there are committees that will suit anyone's interests, whether you like genetics, astronomy, or even physics. When writing different papers for the committee, you'll learn a lot of important abilities, such as compiling resources, cutting down to the essentials of an event, arguing for a position you might be opposed to, and writing in formal language. So, now that you're convinced you should go to an MUN, let's talk about how conferences are structured, shall we? First, let's talk about the people that you'll find at a conference. The secretariat. These are the people that make conferences happen, from choosing the committees to making sure that the coffee machine works, or, the Zoom calls. They have a lot of experience with MUNs and are trying to give you the best experience you can have, so please be kind to them. They will occasionally check up on your committee or make announcements. The chairpersons. They'll be with you every step of the way, from the study guides to the closing ceremony. Make sure that you look up the deadlines they set for submitting different papers and that you are respectful towards them. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. They'll be glad to help you. They usually have 4 to 5 MUNs they've already attended, and sometimes many, many more. They'll know all there is to know about the rules of procedure and the topics. The press. First off, the journalists. Some conferences have them, some don't. They'll come to your committee and listen to what they are saying, writing articles that will be later published on the conference's site or social media. They might ask you for interviews as well. If you like writing more than speaking, then being a journalist might be the path for you. You don't necessarily need to have attended an MUN before, but it helps to know how the committees work. Second, the photographers. The job of a photographer is pretty self-explanatory. They'll come to your committee, take some photos, and later post them on social media, on the conference's site, or just send them to the delegates after the conference ends. If you see them around, don't only smile at the camera. They've probably been on their feet for hours on end, so give them a glass of water and some pretzels. The staff. They'll assure the smooth running of the conference, from passing your notes to bringing you water. They are volunteers and they are working very hard to make sure that you have everything you need. Be kind to them and don't only talk to them when you need something. If you want to see a conference firsthand but aren't confident enough to go as a delegate, starting out as a member of the staff could be great. I did that myself. The delegates. They'll be your allies, your enemies, or people you are trying to win over. Don't be afraid to fact-check them and tell them where they went wrong, but talk about their strong points as well. Go up to them in the breaks, and you'll probably form some very cool friendships, and at least learn some more about their country policy. You can send them notes to form alliances, and these alliances will later help you when writing resolutions. As a delegate, you will be part of a delegation, which just means the group of people that represent the same country in different committees. The delegations that usually have the most power and can veto a resolution in the Security Council are called the P5. They are the UK, the USA, France, Russia, and China. Now that we know exactly who's gonna be there, let's talk about how the conference goes. First, the date of the conference is announced. This will generally stay about the same, but during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of conferences postponed or even canceled their event. 2. The rules of procedure are posted on their website. Although many elements will overlap from conference to conference, it's still good to read them and see what differs and what you might use to your advantage. Anyway, in case you didn't really memorize them all, the chairpersons will be there for you to explain them. Number 3, the forms to sign up for being a chairperson go up. Number 4, you find out more about the secretariat and the chairpersons through dedicated posts. 5, the forms for applying as a delegate go up. There might be certain offers if you sign up early, and you will be much more likely to get the spot you want. Prices of conferences can vary, with some, especially online ones, being free, while others can cost quite a lot. So be sure to keep this in mind when signing up for an MUN. 6, you get your country assignment, and you are usually put in a WhatsApp group. You will now receive your study guides and a deadline for submitting your position paper. Study guides are written by your chairs and contain some information about the topics that will be discussed. They are a goldmine for starting your research, but don't forget you should go beyond what is provided. For more in-depth research, you should go to the Read More section or the bibliography and read what is there. You should also do country-specific research. You can copy and paste specific paragraphs and important figures in a draft of your position paper, but be sure not to plagiarize anything in your actual position paper, and cite everything down below. You can also save important links in your favorites to access them more easily. Position papers are essays that are about 1 or 2 pages long and contain your country's stance on a given topic. If you have more topics, you'll need to do more position papers. If the chairpersons give you a specific guide for writing them, you should use that. But here's a little format I've used and has worked out for me so far. One short paragraph about the issue itself. Who is affected by it? What are some important figures? Why is it such a big issue? Paragraph about past actions on an international level. What has the UN done? What have other bodies done? What worked? What failed? In this regard, always make sure to cite your sources and have trustworthy sources. I'll leave some of my go-to places to search for past actions down below. Current situation and past actions in your country. What more specifically has your country done about the issue? If your committee is set in the future, this might be a bit more difficult, but you should always look at your country's general stance regarding the topic. Let's say the topic is the evacuation of planet Earth because of a climate disaster. What relation does your country have to climate change? Are its leaders climate change deniers, or is it doing everything it can to combat climate change? Does it have spaceships, or what are its relationships with countries that do? Directions for the committee and solutions. This is perhaps the most important paragraph because it shows you have a firm grasp on the topic and will know how to lead the committee. If your country has done something very right, put that to the front. If not, search for some solutions that your country would plausibly support and put them in. 7. Calls for staff and press are posted in case there will be any. 8. The full schedule of the conference is posted. 9. The opening ceremony. The Secretariat will talk a bit about the conference and then will wish you fruitful debate. The conference will officially be declared open. The first General Assembly. This might not be part of the conference, but if it is, members of the P5 delegations in the Security Council will hold speeches about their respective country's stance on all of the topics in the conference. Every delegate will be present. 11. Committee sessions. They will differ quite a bit depending on the specific committee, but I'll talk more about some key moments later. 12. Last General Assembly. The resolutions are voted upon by all the delegations. 13. Closing ceremony and awards. Here is where you'll receive awards, and the Secretariat and chairpersons will hold a few speeches. The conference will be officially declared closed. 14. The mourning period. You really want to go back. Really want to go back. What is trigonometry? I don't want to know what a sine or cosine is. Please give me MUNs, please. You'll probably sign up for another conference, and the cycle begins anew. Keep in mind that these steps are only orientative and will differ quite a lot depending on the conference. When going into a committee session, here's what you should know. Prepare an opening speech for your topic. You can take some key points from your position paper. Make it about 1 minute long and make sure it contains useful information for other delegates. This is your business card for collaborating. Make it count. Make sure you know your rules of procedure very well. Here are some things you will probably find. The GSL, or the General Speakers List. Here, the debate doesn't have a specific subtopic, and you can give your time away to questions. If you do, other delegates can ask you about points made in your speech or about your country's more general stance. Giving your time away is called yielding, and you can yield to points of information, that means questions, to another delegate that can continue your speech, or back to the chairpersons if you have nothing more to add. A moderated caucus. At some point, the chairpersons will say the floor is open for points and motions. This is the moment when you can propose caucuses. When proposing a moderated caucus, you have to be specific about what subtopic you want to be discussing, the total duration, and the individual speaker's time. There are also unmoderated caucuses. As they say, they are unmoderated. That means you can get up from your seat, walk around, and talk with other delegates about things you would want to do. They are usually proposed later in the committee sessions and are used for writing resolutions. Points of information are just questions, and the chairperson will ask for them. Points of personal privilege. They are used to get up, to get out of the conference room, and to ask a delegate to speak louder. They can only interrupt a delegate's speech if you are asking something relating to their speech, for example, to speak louder or clearer. Points of parliamentary inquiry are used to ask the chairperson something about the rules of procedure or how the conference is scheduled, for example, when is the break, or when does this caucus end. Points of procedure are used when your chairperson makes a minor procedural mistake, like for example, not asking you to speak when it is your turn. Later in the committee, you will start writing resolutions. Resolutions are a very important part of MUNs, and they contain all your solutions to the given problem. They will have to have a specific structure that your chairpersons will indicate to you, and they'll have to have a majority of votes in order to pass. Others. Socials are a crucial part of the MUN experience. They are parties that take place outside of the scheduled hours, and they help you get to know other delegates better. Gossips are notes that delegates can leave either on paper or online about the conference or other delegates. Don't be mean with your gossips, even though they are anonymous. Tips and tricks to make you the best MUNer. Use a bibliography extension on your Google Docs to help you make a bibliography for your position paper in no time. Make a Gmail address if you don't already have one. A lot of conferences use Google Docs for writing resolutions, and to have access to the shared document, you will need to have a Gmail address. Don't use I on the floor. You are only allowed to speak in first person plural, we, or about your country in third person, China, for example. Do not use I on the floor. This is a very common mistake, and you can practice before the conference to make sure that you don't make it. Take notes. It will make you look like super intimidating to the other delegates, and it will help you have something to cling on when you don't really know what to say. Please don't make a speech just to agree with somebody else. Speak a lot, as much as you can, but try to not repeat the same points you made over and over again. Respond to what the other delegates have said and add your own ideas onto that. When starting a speech on the general speakers list, you'll have to use the specific beginning, obviously adjusting it to who is actually in the Zoom call or in the conference room. It goes like this. First, esteemed members of the Secretariat, then honored chairpersons, then fellow delegates, and lovely members of the press and staff. Again, make sure to only refer to people who are actually in the room. Something very important when signing up for an online conference is to check the time zones. I am okay with waking up at 2 a.m. for a conference, but somebody else might not be.
Dacă ți-a plăcut videoclipul, dă-i un like, abonează-te și apasă pe clopoțel pentru a fi notificat de fiecare dată când postez. Lasă un comentariu. Ai mai fost la MUN-uri? Dacă da, ți-a plăcut experiența? Dacă nu, acum vrei să mergi? Pe mine mă poți găsi și pe Instagram la @tochelarista, iar noi ne vedem și data viitoare. Pa, pa!